Inspiration University. Critical to help you reach your dreams. Be equipped with power to achieve. Your God assigned destiny. Grab a pen and a notepad, tune in to Carl Blake's Inspiration University. Hey, what's going on? It is Carl Blanton once again with Inspiration University. I'm here to give you a word of inspiration. I want to start off by talking about speak life. All right, that's what I want to get into your spirit right now, and I want you to understand that you have to speak life. All right. Sometimes we speak death. The Bible tells us that the power of life and death is in the power of the tongue. So we got to speak life. I want to give two illustrations. I was going through a tough situation in my life, and my sons play sports. I'm wearing my Trotwood gear. Trotwood in the house. We celebrating 30 years, our 30-year reunion this year. So we in the house. We getting ready to celebrate that. But I want to talk about two incidents. I got two sons. All right, my baby boy, he was a junior in high school. He was going through a situation, and we had to rush him to the hospital because he had this cyst on his jaw, and it was really bad. He was in the hospital for a while. It was detrimental. Could have been bad. But one thing about it, as a father, I just kept speaking life. I kept believing that he would be delivered, that he would be healed, that he would come out of this thing. He was in the hospital for a few days, longer than what we expected. But here I can say today he's graduated high school and he's out of that situation. But while we were in it, it felt like, man, what can I do when your son is going through something that severe and it comes out of nowhere? We're trying to do everything that we know to do. We pray, we talk to individuals, get others to pray. But it was one of those that I had to be as a father. I had to speak life over my son. I had to speak life over my son. I remember Bishop T.D. Jakes was talking about one of his sons was almost dying, and he was over in Africa getting ready to speak, getting ready to stand up and preach. But he said, I got to go back home to my son. And he said to them, put my son on the phone. And he told him that he shall live and not die. He spoke life to his son. The next incident was my oldest son was playing football, and he was having a great game, but he was played full game. At the end of the game, he ended up walking, they celebrated, and he's going back to the locker room, and all of a sudden he fell out. I get a call on the radio. Hey, Mr. Blanton, I'm a coach at Trotwood as well. So Coach Blanton, you got to come to the field. You got to come to the field. I'm like, why is they calling me to the field? Immediately in my mind, I said, something done happened with my son. Something done happened. This is my oldest son. So I'm like, wow, what is going on? So I had to hop the fence to run over and get to him. And he was laying there on the field. Looked like he was dead. It looked like he was almost gone. And there was everybody there. And I just began to speak life. I had to speak life in the midst of that situation. His mother came running up and she started crying and boo-hooing. I told her, no, we can't have that. That's not what we need right now. That's not what we need. I had to speak life to the situation, and they got the defibrillator and they put it on him, and it got to working and doing what it was supposed to do, but they never got to give him the shock. They didn't have to do it because God had intervened. And then they sent him to the hospital. He had to go get checked out. But I'm here to tell you, because as a father, I spoke life over my sons, and they're still here. Now they've graduated and gone on and went to college, and now they're working jobs. But I want to say I had to speak life. You have to speak life, even over yourself, even while you're going through trials, even while you're going through tribulations. Things and storms are hitting you left and right. You don't understand where it's coming from. You got to speak life in the midst of it. You got to speak life. Don't let that thing get the best of you. Don't let it take you under, but speak life to the situation. Speak life to your problems. Last thing, I was going through my divorce, and all I could think was, what am I going to do? The Spirit said, if you faint in the midst of adversity, your strength is small. So I began to speak that word throughout the whole process. It wasn't always great. It wasn't always good, but I had to speak life to get through. Speak life. Speak life. That's all I want to say. Somebody, you might be going through something. Death might be knocking at your door, but you got to tell that death, where is your sting? You're not taking me out. I ain't ready to go yet. I ain't ready to go. My kids got to grow up. My kids got to go to college. I ain't ready to go yet. You got to tell death, I ain't ready to go. You got to tell your problem that I'm going to speak life and I'm going to believe God and know that his word is true. Speak life over your situation and watch God change things. Another daily dose of inspiration from Inspiration University. I'm signing out. This is your boy Carl Blend. Holla at me.